All right, okay. Who are you? What do you do? Who you trying to be? What are you trying to see? How are you trying to grow? What are you trying to know? So, I'll just break down the topic for today. Upgrading your subconscious mind, as I would say. Bringing it to you with no delay. So, what I'm going to talk about, a quick preview, is pretty much like how to upgrade your subconscious mind. Going to get into the mindset of how your subconscious is really like a storage place for habits, how this gets formed over time, how you learn skills consciously versus subconsciously, how analogy of your brain is kind of like a computer to help you understand how to change the programming, understanding positive changes. Then I'm going to show you how to take action, how to change your subconscious habits that dictate the results that you're going to get in life. Because this is really one of the biggest things when it comes to where you are, or why you are where you are, and how you can get so much farther. So I'm going to look at really the most effective ways to reprogram your subconscious mind and get into really how to do that and what path you should probably take. And I'm going to get into it with my own personal, experience with this topic. I would really have to say that, I used to think that starting a business or starting passive income would be like very difficult, way harder than getting a job. It'd take a lot of time to do, it'd take a lot of like making no money for a long time and, just working super hard before I really see anything come from it. And I just thought there were so many obstacles and everything like that, right? Because pretty much everyone in my immediate family and really the majority of the people in the neighborhood area that I grew up in worked at a job for somebody else to make money. So that was really like my subconscious programming, right? That was what I was told in school. That was what I saw from everybody around me. So I also used to think that, I would not make a lot of money and have a comfortable life unless I went to college and got really good grades in school. Taking that whole path. That was what I was told. That was what I saw was the only really way to go. So I really thought I knew it all, but the truth didn't really show. So I used to think that, all these things, but after reading a lot of business books and meeting successful business people, my beliefs about this really began to change. I knew that I did not like school. The only thing I liked about school really was just, going to see people there, just interacting with my friends, stuff like that. When it came to like sitting in a room and having somebody tell me stuff that I didn't really care about and having to really remember it and recite it back to them in a way that they thought was acceptable or whatever it was, I mean, that was just like, I couldn't stand that, right? Like, it may cause me to really make the decision that I would start my own business. And the motivation behind that was really so that no one could tell me like what to do or how to spend my time. And the money was really not even the main thing behind that. Like I just wanted the freedom. Like that came first. Like that was my main motivation. So at first, I thought that I had to keep working at my job until my business was making enough money to support myself on just that. So I did not make much progress on my business because I wasn't giving it enough of my focus, right? I mean, I would go to work and I would be just like drained after that. And then I would try to like do some business stuff and, I'd be maybe getting like a couple hours in a business where I'd only be like, half capacity of like, where I could be mentally. And then on top of that, I was always trying to like look at job boards and find like a better job. So better meaning like one that paid more money. Like, I mean, what was better to me, because the only thing better would be to not have that, not have someone telling me what to do. Like I wanted the freedom, but I didn't see through to the truth because I still thought that, I had to take that path. Like that's what I was like subconsciously conditioned to believe. So finally, I decided that, I was going to quit my job and only focus on my business. And this was like a huge risk for me at the time. Like, even though looking back, like, it's now that I've really changed my like subconscious thinking, like, I understand that was like the smartest thing I could have done, but at the time I saw it as a huge risk. And even though like some people I met who were already entrepreneurs were telling me that that was pretty much like what I had to do, like there's no way I could really make a lot of progress on my business trying to work full time and do a business full time. They saw it really clear. Like, to them it was like night and day, like so obvious. But to me, I was like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of risky. But so I did it. I was just like, well, I'm going to try it and see what happens. So once I believed that was possible, really everything started falling into place, right? Like the conditions all came about, like, well, I'm going to have to find a place to live for like really cheap. Well, I found a decent sublease for like $300 a month. I didn't spend much more than that really on food or other things. So I cut my expenses way down, and it gave me so much time to just focus on, creating a source of passive income. And I enjoyed doing that so much. Like I worked, a lot, like, and it didn't really feel like work. It didn't have me drained by the end of the day. I woke up, I felt a lot more energized. I felt a lot better throughout the day. I was still like doing other stuff too. I was still going out a couple hours, couple nights a week, and like meeting up with friends, talking to people, stuff like that. So I wasn't, just working 24/7. So just started with the belief. And the crazy thing was that like once I believed that was possible, I started making passive income business money way, way more quicker than I thought. So it was something like, 6 months, and I was already making more than I was at the full-time job that I used to be working at. And after a year, it was like double that. So yeah, I mean, it was all just a reprogramming of subconscious that all started with like the decision and then the belief. So before I get into the mindset, go ahead and smash up the likes if you haven't already. Go ahead and comment any comments or questions that you have. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. All these things helps Google algorithm get my video out to more people who it can help, which is my goal. So, your subconscious mind is like a storage place for habits. These habits really conduct how you live your life on a daily basis and the decisions that you make. This really determines how you think about your self-worth, how you treat other people, how you treat yourself, how you think about money, how you spend your time. So when you're growing up, you observe the people around you and really model what they do. These observations are stored in your subconscious mind, and by the time that you grow up to be an adult, they really dictate the way that you live your life. So most people do not consciously remember making these observations, the resulting information in their subconscious. Like, this is not something that you're really conscious about. That's why they call it the subconscious, because it kind of happens automatically. And subconscious habits can be the most difficult thing to reprogram because of that. So this is mainly because you don't remember learning. If you don't remember it, like, how are you going to even know that you're doing it in the first place? But when you learn a skill later in life, you're learning more from a conscious state of mind. Like, you are much more aware of the learning process. Like going to school, right? Like learning a sport, any kind of skill. This makes it easier to forget a skill if you don't refresh your memory over time. It also makes it easier to unlearn consciously learned information if it becomes no longer wanted or helpful. So like, think of your mind as a computer and your subconscious beliefs and habits as software. So like, your brain is the hardware and your beliefs and thoughts are the software. When you want to improve your mind, you get new results in life. You don't need to change the computer. You don't need to change like your brain, right? Like, your brain has the ability to always like form new connections and rewire itself, right? Like, there's a lot of science to that. That's another topic for another day. So instead, what you really got to do is upgrade the software or the beliefs. And in some cases, you need to install new software, new beliefs. So why do most people really never change their subconscious programming? Most people really never have the intention to change, right? A lot of people are afraid of change. A lot of people really don't want to see anything new. They feel comfortable in the way that things have always been. People commonly feel threatened or even insulted when someone else directly shows them that they have limiting beliefs or that there is a problem with their current subconscious programming. They feel that like they're being attacked. So it's also common for people to think that they have no control over their subconscious programming because they think it is determined entirely by genetics, their environment, just things that they are out of their control, right? Because they believe this, then it's definitely going to be true for them. A lot of people just want things to like go back to the old days, the way it used to be. But I mean, that's obviously not, you can't go back in time. And I mean, to me, like I would definitely, not want to go back to how things used to be. Like I feel like as long as I'm making progress in life and going forward, then like I'm just trying to stay in the present moment, so I can improve myself. But I mean, it's very understandable, if you have some kind of like subconscious programming that's bringing you negative results, then you're going to keep, moving in a negative direction. And then that's why, you would think like, oh, back, years ago when things used to be better, I just wish it was like that again, right? So anyways, what does every positive change start with? Really thought, right? Like you must think that you want something to be different. Then you have to make that decision to change things in your life. Then really just focus on the solution instead of focusing on the problem. Because the more you focus on the problem, the more you're going to just see that repeat itself. The more you focus on the solution, the more positive you're going to become, the more positive your thinking is going to be, and the more you're going to see those results in your life manifest. So what do you actually have control over when it comes to, the way you think about things in your life and your attitude towards the things that you do? Those are the things that you have control over. Like you have control over the way you think about things and your attitude. And those are the two main things that you need to realize that you need to take control over to change things, to really reprogram your subconscious. So now to really take action, like that was like the mindset, which I believe is like the most important, like, a 80-20 principle. 20% of what you do is going to bring you 80% of your results. So I think, that subconscious is really like the 20%. So like that's the most important. Like you get your subconscious thinking right, like you reprogram your mind to a positive state, and all the money, all the conditions in life you want to see, that's going to come. Whereas like a lot of people think that like it's the other way around. They think it's more like put in the hard work, just work harder, find a better job. All these other kind of things are going to make their life different when they're going to just keep repeating the same subconscious patterns over and over again, and all that stuff is really not going to make as big of a difference as they think. So yeah, you just got to take control of your thoughts and your attitude and make that a top priority. It's much easier to learn new subconscious habits that will replace your old current ones than it is to unlearn subconscious habits. The three really ways that you can reprogram your subconscious mind are either working with a coach who understands how to do this kind of reprogramming, going through some kind of major change or life event that has a massive psychological impact on you. And I mean, usually these events are negative, right? Like losing a job or someone important to you in life. The last way is to really educate yourself on how the subconscious mind works and reprogram it on your own. And really, the first option, working with a coach, is the best solution in my opinion, because someone else can much easier see things that you most likely are not consciously aware of. You will see progress much quicker working with somebody else than with the other two options. When it comes to like impactful event in your life, some huge change, like you don't really have much control over that. Like usually that's some kind of random event. Um, and that's not something that you can really have control over, so it's not wise to go and like seek out like some kind of event like that. The last thing is it can be very difficult to do this on your own. It'll also be very difficult to measure any progress that you're making if you're doing this by yourself. Even though it is possible, it just takes a lot more time. So you do not have to find a specific coach that understands subconscious reprogramming, because there's really not that many out there. So they're gonna charge a lot of money, and you'd be lucky to even find one that's in the city or area that you live in. And you don't have to search someone like that specifically out and pay them a lot of money to see results. The best course of action to take to reprogram your subconscious mind is to find somebody who already has the results or habits that you want and really make them your mentor. And you don't always have to pay money for mentors, right? Like this can be something that you can do for free. And in some cases, I mean, you can even work for a mentor and get paid to learn, right? You could also work for them for free. Maybe they're not hiring anybody, offer some way to provide them value. And a lot of these people, have books, have videos, have, like do speaking, stuff like that. So you can really study them before you have access to them. And then discover by studying this person, you can really be more clear on a way that you could create value for them. Because that's really like how you get things in life, is like creating value for other people, and then that value will be returned to you, right? So you should really have many different mentors in life, right? A lot of people have made the mistake of like searching out one person and then like trying to like stick with that person their entire life, like learning everything they can from that person. Well, it'll help them, but they're going to reach a point where it's no longer really giving them the benefit. They'll like go through that huge growth spurt that they get from that person, and then after that the growth is going to really slow down because they learn the main things that they need to learn. So for example, you might need to find a mentor to help you start your business or source of passive income, so that it becomes profitable, right? And maybe you have the goal to make like 6 figures a year. So one person is going to really show you how to set that up, give you the right kind of programming, the right kind of thinking, and take you from nothing to something. However, once you reach that point, that person is not going to really get you to the next step in most cases. So you'll most likely need to find a different mentor to grow to the next level of success, where you're making 6 figures a month, and maybe growing from like 2 to 5 employees to like 10 to 100 employees. So then after that, you might need to find a new mentor to show you how to automate your business or source of passive income, so that you can step away and really start working on the next one. And just realize that anything you want in life, you can always seek out somebody who's already got that result, and then just model what they're doing. So repetition is a huge part of really changing your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind is programmed over time. Learning something once or just hearing something once will usually not stick around in your memory for very long. Learning something and then taking action multiple times over and over again has the best impact when it comes to reprogramming your subconscious mind. So that's about it for today. Hope you got some value off of what I had to say. Go ahead and implement these teachings as quick as you can. Go ahead and smash up the likes. Go ahead and any questions or comments, feel free anytime to leave. And subscribe if you haven't already. Bringing new information steady. I'm out for now. Peace.